Introduction. The Man, the Myth, the scientist Richard P. Feynman, 1918 to 1988, stands as one of the 20th century's most iconic and influential physicists, celebrated for his groundbreaking scientific contributions and his uniquely charismatic, unconventional personality. His life was a remarkable fusion of intellectual rigor and a playful, often rebellious spirit. This report provides a comprehensive account of his journey, from his formative years to his lasting legacy, exploring the interplay between his scientific genius and his curious character. Feynman's public persona, often described as a curious character with a colorful personality and quirky sense of humor, became a defining element of his enduring legacy. This aspect of his identity was not merely incidental. It significantly amplified his scientific impact and broadened his reach beyond the confines of academia. His autobiographical books, which brought him national prominence, were essentially collections of stories showcasing his distinctive personality, making complex scientific concepts more approachable to a wider audience. Furthermore, his dramatic, hands-on demonstration during the Challenger disaster investigation, a moment of intense national attention, solidified his image as a fearless truth-seeker, further cementing his public appeal. This deliberate cultivation of a public persona, characterized by a blend of intellectual brilliance and an engaging, sometimes rebellious spirit, contributed to his status as a mythic hero for many, illustrating how a scientist's personality and communication style can be as crucial as their technical prowess in shaping their influence and public understanding of science. Early life and formative years, 1918-1939. Richard Phillips Feynman was born on May 11, 1918, in Queens, New York City, and grew up in Far Rockaway, Queens. His parents, Lucille and Melville Feynman, were Jewish, though non-practicing. The intellectual development of young Richard was profoundly shaped by his parents. His father, Melville, a businessman and sales manager, nurtured his son's innate curiosity by encouraging him to ask questions and challenge conventional thinking. Melville often engaged Richard in playful, hands-on activities, such as using rectangular floor tiles to teach him about patterns, leading Feynman to recognize that mathematics is looking for patterns. This early exposure to abstract thinking through tangible objects laid a crucial foundation. Melville reportedly expressed during Lucille's pregnancy that, if it's a boy, he'll be a scientist, indicating a clear intention to foster a scientific mindset from the outset. From his mother, Lucille, Feynman inherited his lifelong sense of humor. While Feynman's own accounts often minimized her influence, deeper analysis reveals Lucille, a trained kindergarten teacher in the Froebel system, likely played an equally significant role in fostering his visual and abstract thinking skills through early childhood activities. The Froebel system emphasized physical materials to teach fundamental ideas of form and relationship, aligning with Feynman's later unorthodox way of seeing the world and his invention of Feynman diagrams. These early, informal, and play-based learning experiences fostered by both parents cultivated a unique cognitive framework that prioritized intuitive understanding, pattern recognition, and visual representation over rote memorization or conventional academic paths. This directly contributed to his revolutionary approaches in physics, such as the path integral formulation and Feynman diagrams, which were fundamentally visual and intuitive. This highlights the profound impact of early childhood education and parental involvement, especially when it encouraged curiosity, exploration, and unconventional problem-solving on the development of scientific genius, challenging the notion that formal academic rigor alone is the sole determinant of intellectual prowess. From a very young age, Feynman demonstrated a remarkable fascination with science and engineering. He established and maintained an experimental laboratory in his home, where he delighted in repairing radios and even engineered an electronic burglar alarm system to detect when his parents might tamper with his lab. This early practical problem-solving foreshadowed his later career in theoretical physics, where he would analyze complex issues conceptually to arrive at elegant solutions. Feynman attended Far Rockaway High School, a notable institution that also produced future Nobel laureates, Burton Richter and Baruch Samuel Blumberg. He quickly advanced to higher mathematics classes, and by the age of 15, he had independently mastered trigonometry, advanced algebra, infinite series, analytic geometry, and both differential and integral calculus. He even experimented with mathematical topics like the half-derivative using his own notation and devised unique symbols for functions to avoid common notational pitfalls. In his final year, he won the New York University Math Championship and was a member of the Arista Honor Society. An IQ test administered in high school estimated his IQ at 125, a score he later humorously cited as being too low to qualify for Mensa International. For his higher education, Feynman initially applied to Columbia University but was denied admission due to its quota for Jewish students. He subsequently enrolled at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT, where he joined the Pi Lambda Phi fraternity. His academic path at MIT was circuitous. He initially majored in mathematics, then switched to electrical engineering, before ultimately settling on physics, which he described as somewhere in between the abstractness of mathematics and the practicalities of engineering. As an undergraduate, he published 2 papers in the Physical Review, one on cosmic ray scattering, co-written with Manuel Vallarta, and his senior thesis on forces in molecules, which led to the Hellman-Feynman theorem. He received his bachelor's degree and was named a Putnam Fellow in 1939. For graduate school, he achieved an unprecedented perfect score on the physics entrance exams for Princeton University, with an outstanding score in mathematics, though he performed poorly in history and English. Despite his exceptional abilities, the head of Princeton's physics department, Henry D. Smythe, expressed concern about his Jewish background, writing to Philip M. Morse to inquire if Feynman Jewish, and if his physiognomy and manner show no trace of this characteristic. Morse reassured Smythe of Feynman's admission, despite his background. This period reveals that despite his extraordinary talent, Feynman faced explicit and implicit anti-Semitism in his pursuit of higher education, highlighting systemic barriers that existed even for highly gifted individuals in the academic institutions of the time. His Ph.D. thesis applied the principle of stationary action to problems of quantum mechanics, laying the foundational groundwork for his path integral approach and Feynman diagrams. 3. Wartime contributions. The Manhattan Project, 1942 to 1945. While researching his Ph.D. at Princeton, Richard Feynman was encouraged by Robert W. Wilson to participate in the Manhattan Project, the top-secret initiative to develop the atomic bomb. Feynman accepted the offer and at the remarkably young age of 24, became a group leader in the theoretical division at Los Alamos, New Mexico. Working under Hans Bethe, his primary work at Los Alamos involved calculating neutron equations for the water boiler, a small nuclear reactor, a task crucial for determining how close a fissile material assembly was to reaching criticality. He was later transferred to the Oak Ridge facility, where he assisted engineers in calculating safety procedures for material storage to prevent accidental criticality incidents. Beyond his official duties, Feynman, driven by his compulsive need to solve puzzles, developed an aptitude for cryptography and famously cracked safes and filing cabinets at Los Alamos, often leaving notes to highlight security weaknesses. This demonstrated a fascinating paradox in his character, a mind capable of contributing to the most destructive technology ever conceived, was also driven by an intellectual curiosity to expose vulnerabilities in the very security systems designed to protect that technology. This was not malicious, but rather a manifestation of his disregard and even contempt for any sort of conformist or conventional thinking, and his innate drive to understand and challenge systems, revealing a relentless pursuit of understanding and truth that transcended the immediate objectives of his work. Feynman was also present at the historic Trinity bomb test. This period of intense scientific work was intertwined with profound personal tragedy. In 1942, as he joined the project, Feynman married his high school sweetheart, Arline Greenbaum. Arline was already gravely ill with tuberculosis, and despite advice against the marriage from family and colleagues, Feynman proceeded, driven by a desire to care for her. He frequently visited her in a sanitarium in Albuquerque on weekends, balancing his demanding, top-secret work with his personal devotion, until her death in July 1945, shortly before the first atomic bomb tests. Her passing left him in deep sorrow, and he immersed himself in his work until the project's completion. The Manhattan Project, while a monumental scientific undertaking, imposed immense personal burdens on its participants. For Feynman, this period was marked by the simultaneous intensity of groundbreaking, world-altering work and profound personal loss, underscoring the human cost intertwined with scientific progress during wartime.